In this video, I'm going to walk through part 3 of a 4-part series about your LinkedIn strategy for 2023. If you have not had a chance to go through the first 2 parts, I highly encourage you to go check them out on our YouTube channel. And if you get a chance, go to the lower right corner and subscribe to the channel. We'd be super grateful. The first part of the 4-part series was your profile, how to enhance your profile. Part 2 was making proactive connections, how to bring the right residents into your community. Today, we're going to talk about part 3, content, my favorite. Now, if you didn't get a chance to watch the second video, I shared an analogy that's going to be super helpful for you when it comes to leveraging LinkedIn effectively. I want you to look at your current connections on LinkedIn. You might have 200, 300, 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, I don't care. But that's your community, no matter how small or large it is. And you are the mayor of that community. And as mayor of the community, you have 2 jobs. Number 1, you need to go find more new residents to come live. Those are the people you could do business with. The right residents are the people you can do business with on LinkedIn. And the second thing you need to do as mayor of that community is create content or make them feel proud they live in that community. How do you do that? Create good content for them. So that's what we're here to talk about today, is how can you create good content, effective content at LinkedIn that creates business opportunities. Now, I'm going to send this out with a warning. Creating content does not create overnight wins. If you're watching this hoping that I'm going to share like how to create the perfect video that's going to lead to 5 appointments, this is not the video for you. But what I am going to tell you is how you can create content that builds a lot of brand recognition for you. So over time, you get the right prospects to raise their hand and they actually start reaching out to you. So let's talk about content. What kind of content can you create? Well, number 1, you have to figure out what mode or medium of content you want to use. Do you want to use video? I think it's the most effective because it is the best way to get a prospect to know you and like you as fast as possible. Number 2, if not, think about other mediums you could be using. Are you a good writer? You have the LinkedIn articles feature. You can just write LinkedIn posts if you want. If you want to share pictures, doesn't matter. But think about what medium you're going to use to post content. The best medium is to use all of them. But if you don't want to, if you're not good at video, you're afraid to use video, just pick one and run with it. Now, once you know what medium you're going to use to post, the second question is, what are you going to talk about? And this is where you often get hung up, is what kind of content can I create that's going to be effective? Now, what you're about to hear is going to go against what you've heard, but it's what is effective. If I'm creating 2 types of content on LinkedIn in 2023, here are the 2 types I'm creating. Number 1, I'm going to focus on educating my prospects because I want to become the go-to educational resource for them. And number 2, I'm going to create content that lets my prospects get to know me. So if you just focus on those 2 types of content, educational content and content that lets your prospects get to know you, your content is going to be very effective and it will ultimately drive business opportunities. So let's talk about educational content. What should the educational content be? Well, very simple. What are your prospects looking for? What questions do your prospects have about what you sell? What objections? What hesitations? That's the content you should be creating. Now, truth be told, that's not sexy content, but it's content that works because it's very searchable. I have a client right now who focuses on selling captives in the commercial insurance space. So what is he doing? He is creating all kinds of content around captives. He is educating his prospects about all things captive. Why? Because he wants to become the go-to resource of education. Because if they go to him for that education, guess who they're going to go to when they want to look at a captive? Yeah, you got it. So education is important. Now, another secret for good educational content is what I call the 3 E's. Number 1, make it educational. Number 2, show empathy. And number 3, be elementary. What do I mean? When you create content, it has to be educational. However, you also have to put yourself in your prospect's shoes. Do not talk down at them. Do not talk above them. Let them know you are one of them. And the third thing is elementary. You have to create content and communicate it in a way a 5th or 6th grader could understand. Coming from the health insurance space, there's a lot of advisors who are very knowledgeable, but they talk way over the prospects' heads. Therefore, the hot prospects are not understanding. They're not connecting it. Now, when it comes to creating content that lets your prospects get to know you, just let us into your life. I know that's the content that hesitates you. It has you hesitating. You don't want to share it. You don't want to share pictures of you walking your dog or enjoying your family, but that's what lets your prospects get to know you. And here's why this is important. It is more difficult today to create a relationship with your prospect than it's ever been. Before the pandemic, you probably took a prospect out to dinner for a cup of coffee, maybe to a ball game or a round of golf. It's not so easy anymore. However, with technology like LinkedIn and content, you can actually build a relationship with a prospect before they have ever met you. I can't tell you how many times I have jumped on a strategy call with a prospect, a broker I've never met, but they feel like they already know me because of our content. And part 3 of this 4-part LinkedIn prospecting strategy is probably the most important thing. Creating content is what changed my career. It's what allowed us as Complete Game Consulting to grow almost 80% in 2022 without spending one ad dollar or making one cold call. Content works when done right. So that's part 3. Create effective content. Create content that educates your prospects, make it educational, empathetic, and elementary, and create content that lets your prospects get to know you. You do those 2 things well, you will start building relationships with prospects before they ever meet you. And then when you finally get that opportunity to have a discovery meeting with them, they're going to already feel like they know you. That gives you a leg up on the competition.